We're live, people. We are here. Worst case scenario, we're here to talk UFC 309, Stipe versus Jones, and do a little recap on the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight from last night. With me are my two guest hosts. We got Bennett, we got D'Lo. Say what's up, guys.
Yo, yo.
My dudes, what's up?
Now, before we get into the UFC 309 preview, we're going to talk about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. I'm going to go ahead and save what I got to say until after we let Bennett go, because Bennett's already little crackheads jiving this morning. So go ahead, Bennett. Go ahead and tell us what you thought about that fight last night.
Well, thanks for letting me read the fucking beginning there. Man, I gave my I gave my opinion last night, and damn sure didn't come to fruition. It looked like you can say whatever you want. It looked like fucking Jake Paul, Netflix, whoever you want, paid Mike Tyson off, and that shit was a hoax. That whole fight was a hoax. Mike Tyson got paid off with a nice payday from Netflix, and then a bonus on top was a Pokemon card. And that's how I feel, man. It was just sorry. It was so sorry.
It was, man. It definitely was. And Phil has the
you
opinion,
had the world
like,
watching. You had the world watching. They broke Netflix last night, like by so many subscribers watching.
Yep. And Phil has the opinion like, oh well, people didn't pay for pay-per-view and shit, so it's not that big of a hustle and this and that.
You
But
said what it was is you said they scammed. They didn't scam
they did.
anybody. They didn't.
No, they did. They scammed everybody, bro.
No, they scammed nobody. Listen, I don't
know.
know.
So Mike Tyson is that shitty, and Jake Paul is that shitty too?
No, all right, but I'm gonna go ahead and break it down for you.
The only thing I know that's that shitty, Phil, is you.
No, listen, when you watched that last night, I don't know what you were expecting when you put a guy that
I was expecting to see a little bit of what I seen Mike Tyson training, moving in on his moving in on his sparring partners, landing some solid punches. He did none of that last night, bro. He did none of that. And if you paid attention to the jabs that Jake Paul was throwing, they were cupcake jabs, dude. They were pillow jabs, bro. He wasn't throwing with any force. He wasn't trying to hurt Tyson. Tyson wasn't trying to hurt him. This fight was fucking rigged, bro.
Nobody got stunned. Nobody got hurt. There was no fucking somebody in danger ever.
I'm just ashamed that number one, that the Texas Athletic Commission would sanction that as a real fight rather than an exhibition. And I'm also ashamed that Tyson would put that on his legacy as a real fight. You know what I mean? That hurt, dude. That hurts your legacy as the baddest man on the planet, dude. Like, that was not the I don't give a shit, dude. You don't lose that power. He had that power in training. Where was that power in the fight?
Hey, D'Lo, last night you would have beat both them motherfuckers. I don't know about that. I got a broken neck. I know for sure.
Broken neck and a broken back.
If they're gonna stand there and just do that little wimpy shit, I have full confidence that you go in there and fucking knock both them motherfuckers out while they just sit around and fucking dance and touch gloves and maybe
my fighting days are long behind me, bud.
That was so trash.
Dude, it was a 58-year-old man who, as soon as he walked down the ramp, you could tell he had the knee brace on. He was gingerly walking on it. You could tell that there was an issue with the leg. So he wasn't going to have the power. If he couldn't step forward with that leg, he wasn't going to have the power.
Then why take the fight, bro? Why do that to your not only your legacy but your fans, dude? There is no Tyson fan that walked away last night. A real Tyson fan that walked away and said that was the good ending to his career. You know what I mean? Like
ending. But I'll tell you what that was better than. That was better than in 2005 when he walked away in the middle of a match. He quit in the middle of a match with McBride. Just said,
you believe that was better?
Yes, because at least he didn't quit in the middle last night. He went out.
He didn't have to quit because he was fucking jogging the whole time.
Not to mention Jake Paul was hitting him with pillows, dude. Like,
yeah, he was jogging too. They both were jogging.
They both looked tired. They
didn't look tired. It looked fixed, you dumb fuck.
Listen, I don't know what you were thinking. First of all, you're the dumbass who sat there last night and thought that was going to be a competitive match, all right? You had Jake Paul, who was known for shit like this. You had Mike Tyson, who was 58. What did you expect, Bennett? You thought it was going to be you thought it was going to be, you know what I'm saying? It was going to be.
Yeah, I wanted my fucking dream to come alive. I wanted Mike Tyson to be Mike Tyson.
You have killed every dream you ever had. So I don't know why you thought that was going to come alive. It was.
These guys were jogging.
It was what we thought it was going to be. And now this morning, you're going to cry about it?
Yeah, I'm going to cry about it. Fuck you. Fuck you. I'm going to cry about it.
It's just, dude, like, at this point, you hear Jake Paul calling out guys like Canelo and calling out guys like Conor McGregor, and it's like, there's no legitimacy to what you're doing, bro.
Nah, because you're just going to pay this dude off to fucking get in the ring with you and give him money and let him fucking tap you.
But the thing about it is, dude, but the thing about it is he's going to catch somebody that actually does care about their legacy, and they're not going to – Conor McGregor doesn't need –
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, let's get a young motherfucker in there with that dude.
We already did.
Let's get somebody –
Tommy Fury.
Let's get somebody. No, I'm talking about young. I'm talking about young, up and coming, 4 fights, 5 fights. Let's get a young dude ready to fucking actually eat a motherfucker.
Tommy Fury was young and up and coming.
Yeah.
He's in his early 20s.
Fuck Tommy Fury. No. If you know his name, I don't want him in the ring with him.
We only know his name because of his brother.
I don't give a shit. If you know his name, I don't want him in the ring. I want someone.
I think he was on The Bachelor or something too, Phil. He was on one of them reality shows.
Yeah. If you know his name, I don't want him in there. I want somebody you've never heard of. That way, he's infamous, and
no,
and he's all right.
Because then you wouldn't watch it. Most people would not watch it.
I'll watch that shit. Next time Jake Paul fights, I'm going to watch because I want somebody to hit this motherfucker in the mouth. I'm going to sign up for a fucking fight. How do you do that? You got to go on
Google. See, Bennett wants a guy that is not known so he can try to make a name for himself by knocking Jake Paul out. I want a guy like a Conor McGregor that doesn't need the money but has the skill.
Need money. He don't need money, bro.
I don't know what you're saying here.
That's a false fight too. He don't need money.
I want a legit boxer who's in his 20s that, you know what I'm saying? He's got some fights underneath his belt, but you know what I'm saying? I just want a legitimate boxer. This is what he does for a living. He does boxing, not MMA, not this thing over here, not an entertainer, like a real boxer that trains every day.
Yeah, give me the real life Rocky.
Yeah. I see what you're
Give
saying,
me a low life from Chicago, from Philadelphia, from Los Angeles.
What do you feel if Canelo were to step up and take that fight? Do you think that's another?
No, I'm done with that. I'm done with all that shit. Clearly, Jake Paul is going to pay anyone off to fucking take a payday and take a fall.
Yeah, instead of him doing it, I'd like to see a regulated boxing commission put him in fights.
That or you fucking
like
8 out.
Like
look, dude, I'll take Tyson. I'll take Tyson and Paul again. But I want Tyson to be.
I don't want to see Tyson fighting, and that's what killed me.
I'm saying I don't want him to be a part of the fucking world, anything in the media, anything, and then 8 hours away from it, I just want you to fucking jab him in the fucking neck with steroids. Make him a fucking maniac like he used to be, and let him go out there. He can't even control himself.
I don't think that Mike Tyson, after 20 years of eating mushrooms and this and that, I don't think that he is that killer anymore. I don't think that he is that.
What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Like I said, put me in the ring, put you in the ring, put Phil in the ring with this fucking retard. He agreed to give me a Pokemon card? Yeah. Hey, jab me in the head a couple times. Hey, I'll dance around.
But here's the thing, Bennett. The thing that where we're fucked up and we're retarded. I mean, honestly, like I look at Mike Tyson and I'm like, that dude acts like he's got CTE or something. But honestly, his move was very smart. So it was determined that his pay was on a scale, and if he lasted the whole fight, and the fight went to a decision, he got all of his money. But any round that he would have knocked out Jake Paul prior to that, it would have cost him money to do that. If he would have knocked Jake Paul out in the first round,
fucking try. He didn't try.
Well, I mean, if you're getting a guaranteed check just to make it to the end, just
I'm
float
gonna tell
to
you
the
what.
end.
I'm gonna tell you what right now. I watched that fight last night. Neither one of those fucking pieces of shit tried. Fuck Tyson. Fuck Jake Paul. Neither one of them tried. People fucking paid their hard-earned money. They watched that shit.
They did not.
And,
they paid their $5 Netflix bill.
I mean, I understand what you're saying,
you got
Phil, but
$5 bill because you borrow money off me all the time, motherfucker.
How much do you think that those tickets were to go watch those fights last night at Dallas Stadium?
I don't. That's the only thing. People paid money for that.
Thousands of dollars, dude. You got Gronk in there. You got fucking got Shaq
for free. Gronk got in for free.
Shaq was there.
Yeah,
fucking
for free.
They're hyping that up because it had celebrities, but come on. You know what I'm saying? Now it was different. Now, like I said, like when Conor fought Floyd and they put the $100 price tag on it, people were like,
I don't give a shit.
Come on. It's $100, man.
Yeah.
No, they made more money. They made more money last night than they ever did on that pay-per-view.
What?
Who made more money on that?
Yeah, what are you talking about, man? You over here.
Yeah, boxing made more money on that. That fight made more money than they ever did on pay-per-view. Ever.
Could you explain to us how?
It's not even close, you dumb shit.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I think the boxers made good money, but I know that when Tyson Fury fought Usyk, I think they were both getting like, I think they were talking like Tyson Fury was about to be making like close to $100 million on that one. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
What do you think they made last night?
They didn't make.
No, they made 40. Jake Paul made 40, and Mike Tyson made 20 million last night.
That was the base. That's the fucking base, bro.
No, there
was no pay-per-view buys or anything, man. So there was you couldn't put it on commission.
I'm telling you right now, man, that was just a base. Netflix got broke last night because of this fight.
Netflix made money last night because a lot of people signed up for Netflix, but boxing as a whole, Jake Paul's organization, they made the base pay and that's it, dude. You know what I mean? Like, there was no
money, but there was no commercials. There wasn't. It was on Netflix.
They did run a 3-part series leading up to this. Netflix did. So that's what I'm saying. Netflix was the one making the money on this, dude. They paid Paul and Tyson a set amount, $60 million. Paul split it where he got 40 and Tyson got 20, and fucking. Other than that, bro, the money that was rolling in was to Netflix, bro. Netflix is the one that made the money last night. Yes. So,
gosh, you better on yourself.
But what I'm saying is, dude, like you say that they didn't scam, dude, but like I said, people signed up for Netflix last night just to watch that fight because they thought that Tyson was going to come out and be
15 fucking people signed up for Netflix. Everybody has Netflix.
Everybody I know. Like, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, fucking millions of people probably signed up yesterday, dude. Like, because, dude, Netflix was actually on. Netflix was actually on the decline, dude. They had been getting fucking hammered down for lack of content that they've been providing and all that shit. And they were hoping that this WWE move is going to fucking pull them out of the depths.
They're going to have to get that fixed before it does, because, you can't have that crashing down when you have.
Yeah, every Monday night, dude, fucking you got Netflix issues. That'd be terrible, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna be an issue. Are you guys fucking retarded? Both of you guys are fucking dumb as shit.
I appreciate that.
Well, Netflix is not crashing down, no matter what.
It crashed
No.
last night.
You're talking about the
All
site,
night.
man.
No,
God.
but y'all crashed because you guys.
Hey, calm down. Stop
Netflix
yelling
fucking
into the
chose
damn thing, dude.
Netflix chose the hottest pay-per-view to ever do anything. Last night was bigger than anything any of us ever seen.
I mean, yeah, I'm because it
Hey,
was
you name
because
it.
it was,
You name anything. Name anything.
I'm
You
trying
can
to
call
think.
UFC out. You can call boxing out. Last night was the biggest thing, dude. They were talking about it at my work. They were talking about it at the fucking bar. They were
My
talking about
thing is every fucking year the Super Bowl's on TV and fucking millions upon millions upon
Hey,
millions
believe
upon
that
millions.
Netflix gonna get that shit too.
No, they ain't. No, they.
They have
I think.
Yeah.
I think Amazon will get it before Netflix does.
What are you talking about?
Hey.
The Super Bowl if they put it up for streaming rights, like fucking yeah, I think Amazon will buy it. And I believe if that fight would have been on Prime last night, that it would have been a lot better. But Prime's had issues too, man. If you watch Thursday Night Football on there, dude, they've had issues with lagging and fucking it going in and out.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah.
I think the
But
biggest thing
last
last
night-
night was when they asked Tyson if he was done, and he didn't give an answer. And I felt like overwhelmingly he should have said, yes, it's done. Like if he wanted one last hurrah, if he wanted to get in there in front of people and go a few rounds, then good, he did it.
Yeah, just do some of those exhibitions.
He called out his brother. He called out his fucking brother. He said, "Oh, what about Logan?"
Just do some of those exhibition fights if you just want to do. If you just want to get in there.
I'm not watching the fight with Logan and Tyson. No,
No, I'm not either. But fucking, if you just want to get in there and throw some rounds, bro, just do exhibition fights, man. People still watch it. You'll still get paid a decent check. Don't fucking do this again, dude.
I'm done. I'm done with that motherfucker, man. I'm done.
I mean, well, you know, it was clowning on the commentary.
Hey, man, he was my childhood hero. He turned out to be a bitch at the end, and he got paid off by a Pokemon card. So fuck him. Fuck you, Tyson. If you're watching this, anybody's watching this, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck Tyson.
Well, Chad's not watching it anymore. He doesn't take off because of that.
God, you can't get nothing in with somebody screaming into the damn mic, just yelling "fuck you, fuck you."
Yeah.
Well, I get mad, dude. Sorry, I get emotional. That's
No, you get drunk is what you get, and you become a fool. Let's go.
But,
I don't know. You want to move on to the UFC?
No, we can move on to a spelling bee if you want to prove to me that I'm drunk and you're a fool or I'm a fool, and we can do this. You want to do that live on TV?
Somebody got their mic taken away. Good Lord. You ready to go on UFC, man?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we can jump off into it, bud.
You ready, Bennett? Bennett, you ready? He's just sitting there now. All right, D'Lo, we got the big old card today, man. UFC 309. It's headlined by Stipe, John Jones.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this matchup?
Good. It's a fight that we've been looking forward to for a while, man. You know, both John Jones and Stipe have both beat Daniel Cormier. You know, Stipe's the greatest heavyweight probably of all time in MMA history, versus John Jones, who some say is the greatest fighter of all time in MMA history. So, everybody's looking forward to it, man. You can't argue that Dana White gives the people the fights that they want to see. It's not like boxing where, you know, everybody wanted to see Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather in their prime, but they waited fucking 5 or 6 years too late before they finally, you know, decided to do it, man. So it's one of those things. I mean, I understand that Stipe is 41 and John Jones is 37, but they're both great fighters still, man. And they have two totally different styles. John Jones, he likes to use a lot of Muay Thai and take you down and things like that. Stipe is going to want to box. Stipe is a hell of a boxer, man. So, you know, it's gonna be one of those things, man. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a good fight. So
I don't know. Like, really, what was the best at heavyweight? They're lacking in the UFC. It's of stars, of like upper echelon. Like when you look at,
I remember the days. I mean, of course, you know, we had the Brock Lesnar days and things like that, but his heavyweight record doesn't compare to Stipe's. But I mean, I remember the days of like when Tim Silva was there. He had a little bit of a run. But yeah, the heavyweight. I mean, compared to the light heavyweight division and things like that, the heavyweight is kind of lacking for sure.
yeah. When you look at the top stars that they had left to put in here, now this we have the champion who was John Jones. He hasn't defended the title since he won it from Cyril Gahn, which seems like it was 2 years ago. But that was a thrashing. He went in there, and how long did that fight last? That was, I sort of got it was like a minute.
It was a beatdown, dude. Cyril Gahn showed that, you know, he's in no way on that level. You know, and a lot of these great fighters have said that shit, man. They said there's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can be good and you can be a mid card guy, but when you start getting up into that upper echelon, dude, you better be on your game. And every time you fight John Jones, you better damn well be on your game. But I don't know, man. It's crazy to me because John Jones has already come out and let it be known that he has no plans of fighting the interim champion, which is Tom Aspinall. He said that the dude just doesn't interest him at all. He doesn't bring anything to the table for him. And
I mean, if you know anything about Tom Aspinall, he is most of his fights don't go out of the first round.
Yeah, no, dude. Tom Aspinall has definitely been on a tear for a little while now. John Jones came out and said that he's more about legacy at this point. He said, the fight that interests me is Alex Pereira. You know, and that's awesome.
But how interesting is that to the fans when you think about it? Because Jones is going to do what? He's going to take him down. That's what he does.
He's going to take him down, and he's going to dominate him on the ground. Yeah, it's not even going to be close, man. Like,
that's not Alex. Alex actually doesn't go down to the ground because before he did this, he did the kickboxing. So
exactly,
he's a stand-up guy. That's what he wants to do. He wants to stand up, and so styles. It's a clash. You know, these two guys. It's not going to go well. So I don't know. And it's when I look at this, I consider Stipe the greatest UFC heavyweight champion of all time because up until until he got the belt, that title, nobody had defended the title twice.
Is that what it was? Twice?
Yeah, okay. It was like whoever got it won it, and then either would lose it the first time or lose it the second time that they got it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So Stipe came in and he changed all that up when he beat. I remember when he won the title, he beat Verdum.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where Stipe changed the game for heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? To where like before that it was they didn't really get the in boxing, heavyweights always got the respect. In the UFC, it's kind of afterthought. In UFC, it was always
they really are, yeah, man. And I mean, the thing about it, even still today, like when people talk about Stipe, it's like they don't talk about him amongst the upper echelon of guys. It's just like he gets overlooked, man. It's wild to me. So, it's just one of those deals.
I think. Well, I think he gets some recognition, but
I mean, he gets recognized as the greatest heavyweight of all time, but it's almost like you're putting an asterisk on him, like you're putting him in quotation. He's the greatest heavyweight. You know what I mean? It's like you're still down talking the heavyweight division, basically. You know what I mean? So
you're not wrong. But when you look at him, he's coming off a loss. His last fight, which was 2021, was the last time he fought. And that was in March. And here it is. We're in November of 2024, and he's going to get in there. Last fight, it only lasted until the second round when he got knocked out by Francis Ngannou and lost his belts. But I mean, when you look at him overall in his career, he's beat Daniel Cormier. He's beat Francis Ngannou. He's beat Junior Dos Santos, Alistair Overeem, Verdum, Arlovsky, Mark Hunt. He's beat Gabriel Gonzaga, Roy Nelson. I mean, the list goes on and on.
You look at his record, dude. There's a who's who of fucking all the great heavyweights there, dude. Like all the guys that you thought when you think of the heavyweight division in the UFC, you're like, oh yeah, Gabriel Gonzaga was a good. He beat him. Fucking Verdum, good. He was a solid heavyweight. Yeah, he beat him. You know what I mean? Like I said, about the only type of dude that maybe gets he was before the time of all these better fighters. It was like a Tim Silva and that dude had like a Brock Lesnar. Yeah, that too, man. Like
Brock Lesnar really it up when he came in there. That was a star, because when you looked at Tim Silva, you didn't see a star. Tim Silva, whatever.
No,
you didn't see star. Like Coleman,
you didn't see the skill in Tim Sylvia that you see today, man. Like, who was it that fought Tim Sylvia and just dismantled him, man? And he was a smaller fighter. Was it Randy Couture or one of those guys beat the shit out of him, dude? I mean,
like Randy Couture, he's always been listed as one of the better heavyweights, and really he was a light heavyweight.
It could have probably could have even got down to middleweight. Couture's not a big dude, man.
No.
So
he so he's like the after part, because you got the era where like Coleman was the first ever guy that was considered the UFC heavyweight champion. And you had some guys like Pat Barry, you had some guys that came in along there, Josh Barnett. But when Lesnar got the title, it kind of changed over with like him and the Frank Mears. And that involved when Lesnar dropped the belt to Kane. And Kane was something different at the time. He was a beast. And then it went in, like Kane had his whole series with Junior Dos Santos and everything else like that. But it's evolved to where Stipe is probably, and
he's probably the most stability that the heavyweight division's ever had. Yes. You don't want your belt to be changing hands on a regular occasion like that. And with fighting, it's unpredictable. But if you got a guy like a Stipe that kind of solidifies the division to where people are like, all right, this legitimizes it now. This dude's actually a badass fighter, and he can get in there and defend his title and all that. It draws more interest to it. But this is what I've always hated about fucking John Jones, man, is like he even did this, at times in his younger years. It's like he would hold the division hostage when he's the champion. You know what I mean? Like he tries to handpick his opponents, and Dana White dick rides him so hard that he's like he deserves that. And I'm like, but nobody's supposed to be bigger than the organization. You know what I mean? Like, so whoever's next in line should get the fucking title shot. If it's Tom Aspinall, you tell John Jones you're either going to defend your title against Aspinall or we're going to strip you, bro. Like, it's that easy.
You're not wrong on that, man, because he should. When Stipe's had 24 fights. He's had 4 losses in his career. 3 of them were by knockout or TKO. His losses. I think the weirdest one that I saw on there, he lost to Stephen Struve. You remember him?
Oh yeah, that big ass dude.
That was like his actual first loss was to him, and then he lost Dos Santos by decision, and then the 2 that most memory we had him losing to Cormier when Cormier knocked him out, and then when Ngannou knocked him out. But that's why I'm worried. Like, Is Jones going to knock him out? I don't feel like Jones will knock him out. Well, not one of those
I
elbows
think,
may.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. If he gets him on the ground and he starts nailing him with those elbows, then he could very well put him to sleep. But if it's on the ground, or I mean, if they're on their feet, I think that Stipe's got a chance, man. He could land and knock Jones for a loop, and then he'll just jump in and start hitting him with punches. But if this shit goes to the ground, I got a feeling that Jones is going to mount him or at least get in half guard, and he's just going to start dropping them elbows. So
We had a comment here, D-Lo, from somebody. I'm not, as I always agree with that. You should always defend your title to the next man up, no matter who it is. That's why they put those people in. That's why it's so important to put these. The UFC has these guys that make these matches and do these ranking systems. That's why you have a ranking system. It's the next man up, and that's what it should be. But we're in that era where like guys are picking and choosing, like Jake Paul. He's not in any.
That's kind of one of the questions that I asked you before we went live. How do you feel about combat sports right now, man? Because I feel like some of the top stars are starting to get older, and there's really not. I guess, especially in boxing, there's really not these young guys that are there that are catching people's eye, that are like, these are going to be the guys that carry the sport to the next generation. You know what I mean? I don't see it in boxing, because even Bud Crawford and shit like that, they're starting to get a little bit older, man. And so, it's like, what's boxing going to do? And then, even in the UFC though, man, I mean, you look at your Israel Adesanyas and your Kamaru Usmans and shit, they're getting older. Like I said, Stipe and John Jones, 41 and 37 years old. The sport's getting older, man. And, I mean, do you have great talent coming up that can carry the sport and carry the same kind of numbers to justify paying $80 a month for pay-per-views and things like that? You know what I mean? So
No, you're right now. Combat sports in general, it's different from what it used to be because it's been taken over by people like Jake Paul, even Conor McGregor. These guys have taken in. Now, Conor's was a fighter beforehand, but he's brought the entertainment side, but also just like Conor should have bought. Everything changed for Conor when he knocked out Jose Aldo.
yes, he became a superstar at that point. Yes,
and he became bigger than the sport. Is what
yes,
happened. Then he went on, with all the fights afterwards, he became bigger than the sport, and you want superstars because that's what drives your ticket sales, your pay-per-view buys. You want that, but you don't want somebody to become bigger than the sport, than the promotion. And Jake Paul was never even in a promotion. He just started doing this because he had a name from something else. And that's taken over to where Jake Paul's making more money than guys that have, since day one, this is what they wanted to do. They've worked their ass off for this, and they're getting peanuts. Why somebody who didn't care about this shit 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Not that he doesn't work his ass off. I'm not saying Jake Paul does not work his ass off. He does, but like he's got his own marketing. He's got all this that does that for him instead of a WBO or WBC or IBF. He's not in any rankings. So it's just
he gets his fight sanctioned by an athletic division rather than going out and IBF sanctioning the fights, or like you said, the WBO or WBC or one of these to officially get him ranked. Nah, dude, it's becoming painfully obvious now, especially after last night, that these are gimmick fights. These are fights to like you said, more of an entertainment thing. It's almost like they're mixing a wrestling storyline in with boxing or something along those lines. He's trying to even cross over to do the same shit in the MMA, man. And it's like, dude, you're gonna taint the sport. Do you not see what you're? I mean, he is so arrogant that he believes that he's doing good for the sport of boxing. But
he's doing it for his own brand. That's what he's doing.
No, I understand. But
No,
he honestly,
he doesn't care about. And if you want a legacy in anything,
but he's came out and legitimately said it in interviews that he believes. Look, I'm the hottest thing in boxing. I bring the eyes to the sport. This and that. I am good for boxing, and like you said, of course,
he's wrong on that because he does bring the eyes to when he boxes or whatever. He does bring eyes to that, but it's nothing if you're not taking on top talent right here and today. Mike Tyson is not a top boxing opponent for him today. None of these guys that he fought, besides for Tommy Fury, was like legit or like, I want to see you on a real ranking. I want to see you fight somebody on a real boxing ranking system. Once you do that,
and I agree.
You get respect.
I agree with what Bennett said. It would be nice to see him in the ring with a guy that's, 10-0 or 11-0 that's trying to make a name for himself and that's hungry. Like you're saying as well, these guys that are young in the WBO rankings or the IBF rankings and shit that are trying to make a name for themselves and get up the rankings. We'll see what he's all about if he were to fight one of those guys. But he knows better. He knows better. He knows that when he stepped into the ring with Tommy Fury, even though Tommy Fury looked like shit as well, Jake Paul was outclassed in the boxing ring, man. And so, it's like, what do, man? Do you
keep right? Because Tommy Fury, since he was a kid, his dad was into boxing. His dad was training. His brother, you know what I'm saying? His brother, who's significantly older than him, had always been training. So Tommy Fury was somebody that had been brought up in boxing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much.
Well, and that's where you say that it started with Conor McGregor when he beat Jose Aldo and shit. I say all this shit started when Tyson.
Connor changed. That's what I'm saying.
With Connor. Okay.
When Connor got that 13-second knockout, his stock rose so high that he became the sensation overnight. And then,
but I think that this sense of like entitlement and crazy shit started when Tyson Fury beat one of the Klitschko's, and he went off the rails and fucking went on a cocaine bender and gained fucking 250 pounds and fucking, all this shit. I mean, he had the discipline to get back in there and to win his world heavyweight title back and shit. But I mean, when you put him up against a guy that's been fighting and didn't take the breaks and shit like Miocic has been, Miocic outclassed him, dude. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. No, it's just it's combat sports in general. Like I said, it's become more star driven, and they're getting these people. It's sad when a boxing event with YouTube entertainers and celebrities will go on pay-per-view, and it'll garnish more buy rates than a professional boxing match with talent. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, you always, when you're like that, you want to make money. Like a lot of guys in MMA, they're busting their ass, but they're not making any money because the UFC is paying them. They're early in their careers. UFC's paying them. They're lucky if they get 20,000 to show up, 20,000 to win. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to train and not have a regular job and try to make that be your full-time job that you're making all your money off of when you're not making that much money to begin with. So everybody dreams of becoming a superstar and doing that. It seems like Jake Paul's going the backwards way of it. Like, he already had a name, then he wanted to jump into it, and he's getting fights, but he's not fighting. I'm not saying fight tomato cans, you know what I'm saying? But is that not what he's kind of doing anyway? If he's fighting these guys that are past their prime or that aren't boxers, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, I agree.
I think
He's
Paul does.
definitely
He wants that dream. He wants to be ranked. I honestly could see him creating or turning the PFL, making a boxing site on that and turning that just so he can win a belt. He wants to win a belt, or he'll go out and make his own belt. I could see this guy doing something like that because I do believe a championship kind of cements your legacy as
yeah.
as great. So he can
And
box
he
forever.
says that is his dream to be, a world champion boxer or whatever. But my thing is, like I said, he's going to run into somebody that's not going to be that it's not going to be easily to say, if you fucking beat my ass, you're not getting paid. Like, you know what I mean? That shit taints your matches, man. It puts an asterisk on your matches, dude. And so to get any kind of legitimacy, he's gonna eventually have to say straight up, this is a straight up boxing match, no questions asked. You know what I mean? Fucking, we're doing it by the rules, like we did fucking, years ago or whatever. So,
I agree.
or the way it's always been. So, I don't know.
So in tonight's matchup, man, with John Jones, it's interesting because that's what they always said the next logical move for him was to move up because he had cleaned out the light heavyweight division. And he did. He beat a who's who and took him, what his last two matches there, he kind of struggled with a few guys, but I felt like, did he really struggle or was he just not training? Was he getting bored in there? Like we all know John Jones has had his own issues outside of the octagon. They persist throughout the years. So that's like when you look at these two fighters, you see Stipe. Stipe is like the all-around good human being. He's when he's not in the octagon fighting, he's
a fireman.
Yeah, fireman in Cleveland. And he doesn't let the celebrity or none of that go to his head. That's what he does. That's what he loves. John Jones, he's kind of like any common younger guy. He goes out and wants to party. He's got a love of the cocaine, the drinking. And so it's like telling two different tapes. John Jones is a great athlete. He really is. He just hasn't always had his head screwed on right, but he still has managed to put up a perfect record because they're changing that loss that he had because they overturned that rule, and now you're allowed to do what is it, the 6-12 elbows. So,
yeah.
And he said he was going to use them in this fight tonight. He said
so. Are they overturning? Are they overturning it to a no contest, or
that's what Dana White is doing? Yeah, Dana White said he was going to.
Yeah, I was going to say they can't give him the win because
it's a no contest. It's like it basically never happened. So what did he do?
Yep.
Did he just give Stipe a once in a lifetime gift? Dana White, because Dana White has always said that John Jones is the greatest UFC fighter, but he's called him the greatest mixed martial artist. He's went out glowing about him. He's just giving Stipe Miocic a chance to go out and give John Jones then his first loss.
Absolutely. I mean, so that would more than cement Stipe's fucking legacy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe Stipe's legacy is already cemented, but that would do something
at the end of his career.
Yeah. That would be one of those fights that almost makes him bigger than the sport for beating John Jones. You know what I mean?
Remember how big John Jones was getting when he was moving up to heavyweight? Let's realize this. John Jones is the UFC heavyweight champion. He's had only one fight at heavyweight.
Yeah.
And it did not last long. Like I said, that fight lasted a total of 2 minutes, 4 seconds for him to go in there and dismantle Serial Gone.
And so my thing is, and I guess you got to agree with Dana White on this, because people are like, how can you call John Jones the greatest fighter of all time or whatever and this and that? You know, when it's been proven that the dude was hiding under the octagon and shit when the USADA was coming in to drug test him and this and that. And his response is, imagine if he wasn't on the drugs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
look at what he does on the drugs. Imagine if he wasn't on it. So,
well, what's your pick for tonight? Who wins? How and why?
unfortunately, I think I'm going to take Jones, man. I think if he gets in trouble on his feet, he's going to take Stipe down. And if he starts to get him and starts to land those elbows, or gets his back and gets in a position to where he can choke him or something like that, Stipe don't really have a chance. So, yeah, I'm going John.
We have a comment here by Mackay. He's letting us know he's choosing Stipe Miocic by KO round 3. That's ballsy, man. That is ballsy, Mackay, because it's just like I said. Is John Jones gonna be dumb enough to want to stand up and let Stipe? Stipe is known for having that heavy hand.
Great hands, yeah.
But Stipe also can go down and wrestle. It's not as
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not I don't know. He's good on the ground, but he's not like great. Like I thought, which don't get me wrong, he did hang with Daniel Cormier and got back to his feet and all that shit. And Cormier is a world-class wrestler, so I don't know, man. Maybe. So
the way that I see it breaking down, like in my heart, I want to see Stipe because I think Stipe's done after tonight.
I do too.
He's not getting any younger. In fact, what is he? Stipe is
41 years old. 41.
42 years old.
42. Okay.
Yeah, just started back in August. Turned 42. Could he go on? Yeah, he could go on. He could have a few more fights, but why? I mean, I feel like if he wins the title tonight, I feel like he still retires. But if he doesn't, and it's like another brutal knockout, which would be the 4th of his career, I think he's done. He's going to retire, go back to Cleveland. He's going to live a good life. I want to see him win, but I believe that John Jones probably he's younger. I feel like he is the more skilled of the two. I think that he's going to take him down. He's going to use that wrestling, which no matter who he's taking on, John Jones is a superior wrestler. He is. So I feel like Jones is going to win and keep his belt tonight, but I believe that it's going to go at least into the 3rd or 4th round. I don't think he's going to do serial Gone type shit tonight to where he's going to go in there and just not get him in the first round, but I think Jones does, but I want to see Stipe. And so Stipe won, I would not be mad about it. We had another comment, Nilo.
What's that?
Another guy said Jones in a decision. Which,
that's a good pick, man. Like I personally think that Jones will probably end this by the 3rd round, like middle of the 3rd round at the latest. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see Stipe win, dude.
I just don't see. You could say that maybe he would lose if this is he said Bill's real dad. That's is that Tim Honaker? What? He said Bill's real dad. That was the comment from the guy next. So it might be Tim Honaker. No, or who knows? I feel like if this was one of those where if he didn't train, like I believe that John Jones is coming in this, he's trained. You know, he's taking this serious. It was when he was getting bored when he was fighting down in the light heavyweight. Nobody could really do anything, and that's when he was almost losing those matches because he wasn't putting the time and the effort into it. He's putting the time and effort into this time. He knows that if he comes out and he beats Stipe, this is it's going to change how people would view him in the heavyweight. It's adding to his legacy already. One that he's kind of tarnished a little bit with the drugs and the failing of the drug test and everything else. But this would really be a stamp on it if this is Stipe's last match and he comes out and knocks him out and ends the career of Stipe Miocic, who many consider the greatest UFC heavyweight ever. So,
could you see? Like, I don't know how many fights that John Jones has left on his deal with the UFC, but could you see, if he fights, say he fights Stipe tonight, beats him, and then he turns around and beats Pereira, and that's the last fight on John Jones's deal. Could you see him trying to take a route, as in taking a boxing match for several $1 million to end it all? Like, Ngannou didn't end it that way, but I mean, Ngannou, of course, made a few $1 million off of a couple different boxing matches. So,
yeah,
I'm just saying because John Jones is probably only getting $2 to $3 million per fight max. He's not getting Conor McGregor money, dude. Because he's just not pulling those kind of numbers, man.
No, so here's the thing: real fighters like these guys are trying to do whatever they can to get the money that like Jake Paul and them are getting. You know what I'm saying, for doing that shit. But they're the real athletes doing. What's that?
I said that's what I'm saying. Do you see him attempting to do something like that? If he retires from MMA and people are talking as he's the best fighter of all time, do you think he lines up something that's worth a shitload of money to fight
100%.
somebody like him?
100%. I don't know what his contract is. I don't know how many fights he has left on his deal, but 100% he's going to go where the money is, because he's always wanted more. But the biggest thing was them saying, "Hey, you don't have a buy rate." You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody, as good as John Jones is, and a lot of people put him in that, people don't rush to go buy his fights. They don't.
I agree.
They buy Connor's. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's crazy, is that some of these guys like Connor, at one time phenomenal, but lately not one of the best in the world, definitely. But yet still, when he fights, people buy, just like Tyson. People tuned in last night because I think half the people tuned in was old heads like us, who Mike Tyson was. We focused yesterday when we did that thing yesterday. We focused more on Mike Tyson than we did Jake Paul, because to us, that was Mike Tyson. That was boxing when we were younger. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what made that fight last night so intriguing was it was the older generation versus the newer generation, because literally probably half of the viewers were old heads, and then
the other half were young ones. That was like my kids, your kids that know Jake Paul. They think these kids now are looking at Jake Paul like the way we used to look at Tyson, but it's not the same. Tyson was legit. He went through the real talent, the real struggles like that. Jake Paul isn't, but he's getting looked at by this younger generation as somebody. And I don't mean that they look at him like we did Mike Tyson, but they're looking at him kind of in the same way, where they're thinking that this guy's great at what he does. And he is great at what he does, but he's not a great athlete. He's not a great boxer yet, because he's not doing it the right, legitimate way. He's fighting guys that he's handpicking. It's easier to do that. It's easier to be great when you're handpicking these opponents and you're coming out there doing what he's doing to them. And he's getting, and in the end, he's getting a W, which is like the most important thing for him. So, but it was great. That's why you had it. You had the younger and the newer generation hoping, and last night the younger generation won out. So, hey, Tim said, Tim said,
these kids had no idea who Tyson was in his day. You know what I mean? So,
Tim, that is Tim Honecker. He said, "I love the show, fellas. Try and watch every chance I can," and we appreciate that, man.
Appreciate that, Tim, man. For sure, man.
And then we,
I hope you're doing. I hope you're doing better, Tim, this year in the fantasy league than previous years.
I don't believe he is.
I mean, you guys are gonna have to create a Sacco award for the fucking loser of the league every year, man. So
We had another comment here from Makai. He said, "Well, we think he is a bitch and no respect for. We think he is a bitch and no respect for handpicked wins." So that's coming from the younger generation.
Well, some of them. I mean, Makai respects combat sports and shit like that. But these other kids out there, man, these other kids were so caught up in the Disney Channel fucking Twitch or whatever the fuck he got famous on, whether it was Twitch or what's the other one, TikTok or whatever. Well, then he ended up going to YouTube, but he made his I think it was actually a site called Vine or something. And that's where he made his name for himself. And the kids that started following him there and followed him to the Disney Channel and shit, these are a whole different generation. These are the kids that support putting fucking tampons in the men's bathroom and shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I don't know. But when we're talking about like hand-picked opponents, you have like two different types. I think you have the guys that, like Jake Paul's doing, he's wanting to fight guys that he wants to fight. They're named stars. There's guys that have done something for the most part, but they're going the wrong way. He's trying to go up, and they're on their way down significantly, and he's handpicking the worst of the worst. Well, not the worst of the worst, because Tyson. It's smart. If you're going to fight Mike Tyson, you're not going to fight him when he was 20. You don't want to fight him when he was in his 30s. You want to fight Mike Tyson when he's 58 years old. You know what I'm saying? So
no, I agree. But
you have guys that like Conor. Conor doesn't handpick his opponents, but he does lean towards a certain way. Not necessarily though the next in line. Where if you're champion or you're 1 or 2, you should be fighting the next man. You know what I'm saying? Like that. He's wanting to fight. Like he'll win this title right here, but instead of fighting the next guy who's the number 1 contender, he wants to fight the dude in the next weight class that's a champion. Because why?
And that's the type of shit for him. That's the type of shit that holds the divisions hostage because Conor will be up fighting. He'll be up fighting at 170, but holding the 155 title, and he may not go back down
to the 170 title instead of fighting the number 1 contender in 155, because that does nothing for him fighting. If he's already the champion at 155, fighting the number 1 contender does nothing for him. What does something for him is fighting the champion at 170. So I mean that's that. He is handpicky. He's trying to handpick his opponents. At least they're champions, but he's doing whatever to elevate his legacy, but not defend the title in the division that he wanted in. You know what I'm saying? So you have different.
So how does Dana White try to take it back to structure and tell these guys you need to fight the guys that are in line when he's been letting guys like John Jones and Conor McGregor and some of these other cats, he's been letting them have like. And here's another thing: if Stipe were to win tonight and retire, Dana White's going to be pissed. If you remember when fucking GSP came and beat Bisping and then decided to just hang it up after that, dude, Dana White was
hung it up, right? He had hung it up
What's
for how
that?
many years? He had already
he'd already been gone for a couple years and then came back and told Dana White that he was ready to make another run. And as soon as he beat Bisping, he fucking retired.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening here. I mean, he can be pissed, but Stipe, I really truly do believe this is going to be his last fight. Like I said, 42 years old in MMA, man, that's up there.
So what happens if Stipe beats John Jones and he decides to walk away? So the title's going to be up in the air.
No,
Aspinall is the interim champion. So
him.
And John Jones has already said that he has no interest in Aspinall. So what do, man? Do you put Cyril Gahn up against Aspinall or what?
No, John Jones. They give him the option. John Jones, you want to Stipe beat you? What does John Jones go from there? Stipe beats him, gives him his first loss. Does he stay in the heavyweight? Does he go back down? Does he retire? That's the whole. He's already been doing the Conor McGregor, talking about he may retire after tonight.
Yeah,
John Jones
exactly. Yeah.
So either way, tonight, it's going to get resolved because I think that one, possibly two guys may hang it up after this fight tonight, and that just gives Tom Aspinall. He could be the big winner because in the end, maybe he's fighting Alex Pereira next. If John Jones is done, regardless of what happens tonight, Tom Aspinall is just sitting back and he's going to fight either Jones, Pereira, or he's going to fight whoever. Tom Aspinall does not seem to be a guy that's like cares. He wants to get in there and fight and build his MMA legacy. So I feel like if you
and it's like, dude, who's behind him, man? Like, who's behind Aspinall? You got Cyril Gahn, but then you got guys like the dude that drinks the fucking shoey, Tai Tuivasa or whatever.
I got a ranking here. I was gonna tell you the ranking. Hold on, let me see. I pull that up and tell you the heavyweight rankings going into today. I'm gonna find it real quick. Let's see. You got some of the Russians in there, man. A lot of the guy that Aspinall beat to win the title, which I can't remember his name right now. That was a black dude. Who was that dude's name that he beat for the title? I'm trying to remember. I'm pulling it up. Damn it. UFC heavyweight rankings. There we go. You have right now, they have John Jones listed as champion, and then Tom Aspinall is the interim. Number 2 is Cyril Gahn. Number 3 is Alexander Volkov. You have number 4 is Sergey Pavlich. You have Curtis Blades. That's who he beat in the interim title picture was Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades did give Tom Aspinall a loss, but he messed his knee up within the first 30 seconds of the fight. There's a few. There's Spitbach. Stipe actually right now is 8th on the UFC rankings. Derek Lewis sits at 11th. Rosenstruck is at 10. Tybura is at 9. So, I mean, there are some guys, but there's no like big time heavyweight names, man. So, but maybe you get some of this riprap out, these older guys. Like I said, the 2 guys in the main picture tonight have not fought since 2021, D'Lo. That's a problem.
Yeah. That's a problem, man.
That's why Tom Aspinall is the interim champion. And so
no, I agree. It's just like I said, where does the heavyweight division go? If both of them were to step away tonight, where does the heavyweight division go? Like Tom Aspinall, of course, is going to be the champion. They'll probably set up a match between him and Cyril Gahn to officially name him the champion rather than him just being an interim champion. And then if he beats Cyril Gahn, what's next, dude? I mean, Derek Lewis has fell off. Tai Tuivasa is not up there. Like it just. Then you got guys like that are still trying to hang around, like Andrei Arlovsky, and
I think he's just collecting a paycheck, bud. I honestly,
that's what you know what I mean. Like it's just you can't stick those guys in there and let them get killed.
They need some new fighters. They need some stars because there's really not that many, and it sucks because the guys that are there, besides for Aspinall, like I said, you got Cyril Gahn. He got embarrassed, destroyed by John Jones. So if John Jones leaves tonight, Cyril Gahn is left with that horrible loss that he never got to try to come back and get. So, I'm saying try to get revenge on.
Yep. Yeah, I agree, man. This is
Makai,
big. This is
Makai had
big
said
for
this a
both
few
fighters.
days. Makai had said a young Frank Mir is going to take over. There is no avoiding the unavoidable. I do think that Tom Aspinall does remind me a lot of Frank Mir.
Yeah,
When I watch him
he's
fight.
got that. He's got that skill, man. Like I said, so Makai, with you're in there listening. Who do you think if Aspinall ends up being the guy? Who do you think in the heavyweight division is there to challenge Aspinall? Because like we said, we were highly disappointed when John Jones fought Cyril Gahn. And I mean, Cyril Gahn just got thrashed. So it's just one of those deals. Who is there to challenge Aspinall if he becomes the head dog? If say John Jones and Miocic retire, who's there to challenge him, man? I just don't know, man. I don't know what the heavy.
I mean, I'm not saying it was sexy, but I mean, maybe one of the Russians.
No, I do understand what you're saying. Yeah, there's that one dude that's got like the Amish looking beard. Yeah, he fucking
Well, like I said, it's
and
either Alexander Volkov or Sergey Pavlich. So, or Curtis Blades. Spitback. That's one of them.
Blades is okay. Yeah.
He had said, I don't know, dude. He's taken some losses recently, Makai. He said Ty Tuivasa, Volkov could be next. But I think that Tom Aspinall could have a nice long run once he officially gets that interim removed from his name. So, But dude, let's go. There's other fights tonight, man.
We got to move on. We spent a lot of time on that fight, but
yeah, we'll run down some. Let's run down this the co-main event tonight, man. We got Charles Oliveira, 34-10, former light heavyweight champion of the UFC, taking on Michael Chandler, 23-8 in his MMA career. Now, this is the second time they fought. Do you remember the first time?
No, I don't. Was it a hell of a fight or what? I can't remember that fight.
I believe that
Oliveira won.
Oliveira won. Round. You remember that?
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think I do. I think he stunned him early on, and then Oliveira came back and
choked him out in the second round.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about Chandler, dude. He's always a dog. He's always down to put on a good fight. He's one of those dogs that tends to lose more than he wins. He just comes out on the wrong side of sometimes on decisions or just gets caught in a chokehold or an armbar or something. But the dude's a dog. He comes out and fights every time. He kind of reminds me of a little more talented Clay Guida. You remember that dude when he was like, when that dude would just come out? Yeah, when that dude would come out and just give everybody a fucking fight, dude. And it was just like, he wasn't the most talented. He wasn't this and that, but he came out and he put on a show every time. Now, the thing about Chandler is Chandler waited patiently, man, for Conor to fucking Chandler wanted his payday, man.
Yeah.
He wanted that fight with Conor, and it fell through.
He lost time of his career, and he's already Chandler's up there in age. He's got to be in his late 30s.
I'd say he's at least 34, 35, something like that. 38. Because he's 38. Damn, dude. Yeah. So he's older. He's older than John Jones.
Yeah. This is a matchup of some older guys. Charles Oliveira, I thought he was in his late 20s. He's 35 going into tonight.
Damn, man. Yeah, these are some old dogs. I mean, I don't think they're going to look nothing like Tyson did last night, but these are definitely some older cats, man.
Well, Chandler he did a lot in Bellator.
Bellator, was it?
Yeah, he was a champion there at lightweight. Good guy too. He came in the UFC. I think his mixed martial arts what is it? His record in the UFC, I think it's like 3-3. Like I said, but he came in, had an awesome win against that Aussie. He's an Australian dude. Man, he fought on the Conor fight his very first time when Conor messed up. Who was that? Maybe it was Cowboy. is when Chandler fought. I can't remember his name now, but he's an Australian or New Zealander. He's fought some big names in the UFC, and like I said, it looked like he was so close to choking out Charles Oliveira. He was either choking him out or he was going to knock him out with punches. He had him, and he let it up and took his foot off the gas, and he paid for it with being choked out just one round later in the second round. I'm going to go ahead and throw some predictions, D'Lo. I think that, once again, it's one of those things where I like Chandler. I really do. I want to see Chandler win this match. I don't think he's going to. I think that he's going to lose, and Oliveira is going to be 2 up on him. And I'm going to go ahead and say Oliveira chokes him out in the third round. What's your prediction, D'Lo?
I think that's a solid prediction, man. Like, you know, as you stated and I stated, man, Chandler's going to come out like a dog, man. He's going to give everything he's got. The question is, either does he run out of gas or does he just let off the gas? And next thing you know, Oliveira gets an opportunity, you know, about late second, early third round. And I'm picking Oliveira as well.
In this, this is number 2 in the rankings is Charles Oliveira for the light heavyweight title, and sitting back at
you keep saying light heavyweight. It's lightweight. Bud.
Lightweight. My bad, man. Yeah, lightweight.
Yeah.
Sitting in the lightweight rankings, sitting number 7th is Michael Chandler. So Chandler with the win would shoot him up, but there's some talent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This could be huge for him, man. I mean, it could get him right back there into title contention. You know, but I mean, he's gotta put it all together. That's the big thing, man. He can't come out and have a 2-minute burst and then just fucking either run out of gas or just decide that he's going to go into fucking cruise mode. You know what I mean?
You're right. If Chandler's odds of winning this match are huge in the first round. Chandler can go in there, and his best chance of winning this is in the first round, and it goes down significantly after that. This is in this lightweight division. This is something that you wish that the heavyweight had. Heavyweight just doesn't have these names or the star power in the lightweight division. You got names from the champion all the way through young upcomers that are killing it. But then some guys, I wouldn't say they're long in the tooth, being too old, but like you have the Gaethjes, you have Poirier, you have Max Holloway, the guy that I was talking about that Chandler beat, Dan Hooker. You have those guys still in there, but you also have some young upcoming guys that are killing.
Well, and the thing about it is, man, is this is a credit to the coaches and stuff in MMA. They're the ones that determine, like, nah, man, for your side, like they're doing it with Brock right now. Your son Brock fights in February, and his coaches have determined that they think that 155 is the best weight class for him for his size and for his strength and things like that. Because, you know, normally Brock's walking around at 180, 185, something like that. And so he's thinking, man, if I could just cut like 10 to 15 pounds, get down to 170, I think I could whip somebody's ass. And they're like, dude, but you could dominate in 155. You know what I mean? Like with your strength, you could murder people in 155. It's just, it's a credit to coaches to understand where a person is his best at, because like you said, you got all these fucking dudes in the lightweight division that are clustered up and shit. But you ain't gonna tell me that most of these dudes don't walk around at least a welterweight to a middleweight weight class, but their coaches are like, nah, dude, it's best for you to cut that weight and get down to where you need to be to fight at your best versus walking in there heavy. You're going to get winded. You're going to, you know what I mean? Shit like that. So it's one of those things, man. Sometimes it's good to have somebody there that'll save you from yourself type of shit. You know what I mean?
I agree. So, we'll move on to the third matchup tonight, man. And you talk about young upcoming stars, man. This guy right here has athletic ability. Man, dude, he's going to give some people some great fights, and it's, man, I'm telling you, Bo Nickel taking on Paul Craig, and we got Bo Nickel 6-0. Paul Craig 17-8-1. This is where you're putting a young up and comer who is finishing guys in the first round. Just I think one guy's taking him into the second round. That's it. Taking on a guy that's been in the UFC. He's had, I mean, look, 6 fights compared to what has he got? He's got 26 fights in his career, Paul Craig.
Yeah.
But Bo Nickel and his wrestling, a lot of them put that wrestling up there with a lot of these Dagestanians and their Sambo. They're saying if there's one guy that can get in there and compete against these guys, at what they do, it's Bo Nickel and that wrestling. What do you think about Bo Nickel so far in the UFC?
I mean, I think he's looked fucking phenomenal, man. Like you said, only one guy's taking him into the second round. He's come out and shown that his wrestling ability is second to none. Now, whether or not it can stand up to these Russian, this sambo coming out of Dagestan and things like that, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. But he has definitely looked good up to this point. Now, on the flip side, he's 6-0. You're starting to put him up against bigger talent. I remember when a guy was coming up and he caught this hype train and he started riding this hype train, and then he got fucked up. And Dana White came out in the post-fight press conference and said, I think I might have just fucked up and ruined this kid. And that kid's name was Sage Northcutt. Yeah. And this kid was 19 years old coming in. So anyway, Bo Nickel's older than Northcutt was. He's 28.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he's older than Northcutt was and things like that. But at the same time, he doesn't have, this is a different fighting than the collegiate wrestling and Olympic wrestling that this dude's done. So, I think he's looked phenomenal up to this point. I just hope that he doesn't start buying into the hype and thinking that he's as good as everybody's saying he is, and stop putting in the work to get better and then come in and get caught and it derail his career. That's what I'm hoping for Bo Nickel. But if you're asking me who I think is going to win this fight, I'm going to pick Bo Nickel. I think he'll probably get him to the ground and dominate him on the ground.
Yep. Makai sent in a question saying, Bo Nickel in how many seconds? So I'm pretty sure that he's saying Bo Nickel's going to win. It just depends on how many seconds. Bo Nickel should win. I believe that he's going to win. And it really is about how quick will he make this? That's one of the things that some of the coaches in the MMA, they get worried. They want you want to win. And if you win in the first round, 10 seconds in, who cares? You know what I'm saying? But I think if he's going to be challenging some of these champions, you got to have that experience in those later on rounds.
Well, you absolutely do. And it really doesn't help you. I mean, it helps you become a superstar, I guess, if you do go out and knock a guy out in 20 seconds or 13 in Conor McGregor's case or something. It helps you become that superstar. But if you're looking to press on and fight in a tough fucking division, what division is Bo Nickel, a lightweight, or what's his weight class? Middleweight.
Yeah.
So I mean that's still a solid division, man, and to get to the upper echelon of that, man, you're gonna need that late round experience. So
I agree, man. He's got some talent there at middleweight. You know what I'm saying? There's some good fights, and I don't feel like they want to rush. I don't feel like they're trying to rush him right now either. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason to rush Bo Nichols. He's got plenty of time. I'm seeing where he's ranked in the rankings for middleweight real quick. Champion is Duplessis.
See, and That dude's good. Duplessis good, man. I mean, he went to war with what was it? Was it
Oh, he went Adesanya,
yeah, yeah. They went to
and
war, man,
they,
but
they don't actually. Bo Nichols, see, I mean, and it's smart. He hasn't had a whole lot of, you know what I'm saying? Hasn't had a whole lot of fights, so he's not actually in the rankings right now for
oh, what
middleweight.
about Craig? Is Craig in the top 20 or anything?
Let me see.
Because see, this could be that step up in talent where they're trying to get him into the top 25 or something along those lines.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I'm on UFC, and they do the top 15. You have the champion
Okay.
and the top 15. So no, he's not in the top of that. So I was looking at the ones around it too to see if maybe either one were in that. Maybe they were fighting at a different weight class or whatever. But no, neither one. There's going to be some talent there once he does move up. You got a lot of good guys. You got a lot of veterans. You got a lot of young upcomers. You seem to have that in every division except heavyweight. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
we'll move on to the next matchup, man, because you got 5 matches. It's top 3. I don't know much about either one of these two women. They're fighting out of the women's flyweight division. Karine Silva, who is 18-4. Let me bring it up on here, man. Like I said, Karine Silva, 18-4, taking on Viviane Arajo. I'm going to mess that name up, and you already knew that, but
Yeah.
she's 12-6 in her career. Like I said, I'm surprised because I'm not sure if I know either one of these women. I didn't know if one of these women battled. What's her name? She was champion. She just won the belt back. Shevchenko. She had taken
Shevchenko.
on. She had taken on some Brazilian chick, and that chick nearly knocked her off before Alexis Grasso did. So it might have been that Silva who's 18-4, looking dominant so far. Only 4 losses, but
Yeah, I don't know much about either one of these
I
chicks.
don't
I
either.
think I'll probably go. I think I'll probably go with the Brazilian chick that
We're both Brazilian,
Silva.
bud.
Shit.
You
I'll
ain't
go.
losing.
I'll go with the Silva probably. So
Yeah, yeah. I
and
think I will too.
that's probably that to me. That's just flipping a coin, dude. Because I really don't know anything about either one. So
No, I don't either. Makai, he had commented on here talking about striker versus grappler. It looks like never heard of either. Yeah, I never have either. So I'm a little shocked that they would be on this card. They usually try to put some star power on these, especially on the main card. But maybe one of these women might be ranked in the rankings there. So I don't know why they don't put it on the tail of the tape and say what they're ranking, like if they're ranked or not. But and then the next fight, like I said, we'll go Silva, and I imagine I'll probably by decision in that. And then the last match, they're fighting it at a catch weight, so somebody did not make weight.
somebody's submitting or somebody's giving 20% of their purse up.
Yeah, we got James Lontop versus Mauricio Ruffy. Mauricio Ruffy 10-1. Lontop 14-4. Looks like the heavy betting favorite is Ruppy, of course. He's only given up an inch. Yeah, they both weighing in at 164, and then one weighing in at 166. So doing a little catch weight fight tonight. I'll have to see if either one of these guys are in the rankings. Yeah, Ruppy's going to take this, man. It's not even going to be close.
I don't. Again, I'm not real familiar with either one of them. If you're telling me that Rumpy's going to take it, I'll roll with it.
It isn't too many
Yeah.
times you see a guy that is a 1,000, a minus 1,000 betting. You know what I'm saying? So that's telling you right there all that you need to know that
Yeah.
the Canadian in Luntop has no chance of dethroning Ruppy. But there are some. That's the main card for tonight. I'd like to take a look at a couple of the big names that are on the undercard. We got a little Chris Weidman battling tonight. D'Lo 16-7. He did win his last few matches, taking on Eric Anders, who was 16-8. You ever heard of Eric Anders?
I do believe that I've watched a couple of his fights on undercards or something. It's a name that rings a bell when you say it, but I don't remember any fights of his. But I got to say that with it ringing a bell, I'm sure that I've probably watched a fight or two of his.
What do you feel about Chris Weidman in his comeback attempt here?
I feel like, I mean, it's good that he's gotten wrapped off a couple wins, man. But I felt like Chris Weidman should have probably hung it up a while back. And I mean, he went on a little stretch there when him and Luke Rockhold or something. Remember them two were going back and forth. He went on a little stretch there, but I think he probably should have hung it up a while back. He's one of those guys that he's been knocked unconscious a lot of times, and it's probably going to hurt him in the long run. Well,
he did just pick up a win. He picked up a win earlier back in March of this year when he beat Bruno Silva. So, it was by decision. He didn't look too bad. Was it by decision?
The thing about it is, as much of a piece of shit as Dana White is, he does get to a point where he starts feeling like, man, like this is doing more harm to these guys than it's doing good. He's tried to convince Tony Ferguson to retire for the last like 3 fights or something, and Tony Ferguson just won't hang it up. But I think that the solution to that is, they figure out a way, like if a person is signed a 5 or 6 fight deal and they end up getting knocked out like 3 times in a row or something, dude, it should void their deal out, dude. Like you just got to let them go. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate to take away somebody's income and shit like that, but Tony Ferguson's now been knocked out like 6 times in a row, dude. The good thing about Ferguson is he doesn't go unconscious every time, but he's gotten his fucking head rocked several times, dude. You know what I'm saying? But Weidman on the other
medical issues put that one fight at a catch weight. I don't know what the medical issue was.
I don't know what the medical issue was, but then that must the other dude that had the medical issue might be the dude that's the heavy underdog there. Then you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not real sure. So
Mikhail said would love to see Weidman hang it up, taking a beating over the years. Yeah, Chris Weidman he reached that top. You know what I'm saying, when he beat Anderson Silva and won the title, and it's been a steadily deep. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been coming back down ever since. Like right after that win. You know what I'm saying? It's just when he broke his leg, just like Silva did in their match and their rematch, it was bad. Like he doesn't have too many big wins over people anymore. So, but it's a guy that's still hanging on to his dream and just he keeps fighting. So, but you think Weidman loses tonight? You think he wins?
I mean, this is a very even matchup, like you said, man. One's got 7 losses. What's that?
It's even on the betting odds.
Is it? Damn, that tells you all you need to know right there. Man, I think I'm gonna go with that Anders or Anders. I think is his name.
Yeah. All right. Hey, well, check this out. Here's a guy that my son Brock is going to be going and doing some training with. Guys running some kind of open thing over in Illinois. Jim Miller still fighting as we're talking about guys that aren't hanging it up. Jim Miller.
I've always been a fan of Jim Miller though, man. Jim Miller reminds me kind of like a Michael Chandler. Like he's a dog, man, but he just never really he doesn't come out on the best side of things sometimes.
I
So
like to call him he's kind of the Barry Horowitz, Brooklyn Brawler of the UFC. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of the jobber guy. I mean, he's got 37 wins, so it's not he's gotten wins, but those 18 losses, man, those start to pile up. But he's still going, 41 years old, and he's taking on Damon Jackson tonight, 36. So I mean, he is a spring chicken. But Jim Miller, I think he was going back and forth with somebody else for the most fights. I don't know if it was Cowboy or what, but they had like the most fights, most maybe it was a dude named Green, but they were going back and forth with the most UFC fights and wins. Like one would get it, and then the next one would get it later on. So, but Jim Miller still going at 41 years old in the octagon, fighting on the undercard tonight. Do you think that he can? Think he can pick up the win, or you think Damon Jackson, who 23-7-1 in his career, he is the favorite, but just slightly.
yeah, I think I'm gonna probably pick that Jackson, man. I just like I said, I just feel like Jim Miller's probably fighting to get his 20th loss. Tonight will be 19. He'll probably get one more fight and lose his 20th time, and he'll probably hang it up after his 20th loss. So
yep. I think there was another name on this card. I always like to see those guys that, it's nice for us. They are older guys, and you're wondering if they're gonna hang it up, but we still get a little excited. Oh, there's a heavyweight tonight, man. We talked about the heavyweight division earlier. We got Tybura taking on I would love to say this dude's name. Johanna Dins, a Brazilian who is 8-0. Tiburus, 25-9 losses, 25 wins, 9 losses. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the heavyweight division. Tybura seems to be a guy that would pick up some wins and then lose. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like he'd build a little momentum and then it would set him back. So,
and it sounds to me with this guy being 8-0, it sounds to me like they're trying to test him to see if he's ready to step up to the next level in talent. So,
Tybura could shut down the 8-0 guy, man. Add that loss. That's a big thing for a fighter to give another fighter their first ever loss. So,
absolutely.
Tybura is a minus 125 favorite in this matchup.
I think I'm going to go with the other.
What's that?
I think I'm going to go with the other guy.
Oh, yeah. He's Denza. He is plus 105 on the matchup tonight. So you could he's got an inch. I mean, that wouldn't hurt.
Double up your money real quick.
Former UFC or former CM Punk opponent Mickey Gale fighting tonight.
Mickey Gale, I didn't even know that dude was still in there, man. Fucking, I thought that they had released him.
7-6 in his UFC career. Taking on Raymond. No, I'm not even gonna say his last name, but he's taking on a guy that's 10-5 tonight. Gale's 6'2", man. Got some size on him, but man, obviously has not done well with almost being 500 in his MMA career. I just always like to check those out. Oban Elliott, I know that guy too. I've seen this dude on cards for a while now. 11-2 coming in tonight, taking on a guy that is 9-3-1 and Hafez. I'm not even going to ask you who's going to win it. I'm just looking at the names because I've seen that name, Oban Elliott. So, have you ever seen him?
Oban Elliott? I don't think so.
All right.
So is that most of the big fights for the night?
Yeah,
there was just one more thing.
Yeah, just running.
There was just one more thing I wanted to bring up. So, I mean, when Mike Perry was running when he was the bare knuckle champion or whatever it was, it seemed like the bare knuckle was really starting to get put on the map. And now Conor McGregor says he fired him because he lost to Jake Paul or whatever. Dude, there was a bare knuckle fight in like Montana or something, dude. I didn't hear nothing about it. It's almost like they're starting to fall off the map, dude. Like it's crazy to me, man.
Well, see, there's more than one bare knuckle company, so I just wonder if it was BKFC.
Oh no, it was BKFC, yeah.
I'll say because BKFC runs most of their they run all of their shows you can watch, all their pay-per-views and stuff. You can see those on with Triller TV. So
yeah. So do they have a deal with Triller? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I mean, do they still do pay-per-views or are all their fights free now? Like if you have a subscription to Triller, you get all their fights.
well, I believe that when there was a big fight recently that was bare knuckle. I'm trying to remember who it was, and they actually, I think they had it on pay-per-view, but you could also go to Triller. I think they also have a deal. They just signed a deal with like Tubi to show a lot of their shit onto there. So, I mean, they're making an effort, but it's just they don't have a whole lot of stars, and the stars that they do have are coming from the UFC, the former UFC fighters. So, I mean,
and which is fine. I just thought it might have been a bad business move on McGregor's part if he really did cut Perry loose, man, because that dude brings some star power to the roster. You know what I mean?
So in that you need as much star power as you can get when it comes to bare knuckle fighting. So I mean, I've enjoyed watching it. You know what I'm saying? I've watched it more than a handful of shows I've watched bare knuckle.
I guess I've enjoyed watching it as well, but I when I think about it, I'm only watching it when I know that there's somebody on the card that I'm looking forward to watching. Like I'll watch a UFC fight and really like a UFC event and really not give too much of a shit about who's fighting just because it's UFC. But bare knuckle, it has to be somebody to draw me in for me to watch a card. You know what I mean? As much as I enjoy watching the shit, I don't think I've watched an event that was somebody that I didn't know who it was. You know, so
that's true, and it's hard. Well, it's hard to make. And I mean, they might have young up and coming talent down there, but we don't watch it. So when we see them, to us, still, it's like they're a no name fighter.
Yeah, and
we watched one.
I'm trying to get into this slap league, man. This Dana White slap league, man. But fucking, you can only watch it on Rumble, and I don't go on Rumble, so
no. Yeah, that's the deal that they got with it. If it's on TV, I watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's some of it's hilarious. I've actually watched some videos recently. I don't know if you've seen this. Like, I did not know that it was possible for eyes to
I sent you that one I sent you that one where the dude looked like he turned into the sloth when he looked like the dude from the Goonies after he got slapped. So and then people's eyeballs popping out and shit, dude. I'm like, my God, dude. Like, I understand getting punched in the face can't be good for you, but dude, taking a direct shot, not even being able to brace for it from a fucking the hardest you can swing on a motherfucker. And these dudes are training to where they make their palms harder and shit. Like, so it's almost like getting hit with the fist and fucking, dude, that's gotta be rattling your brain. That shit's gotta be worse for you than fucking, you know what I mean? Like football or fucking, at least in combat sports, you can defend yourself. In this, you can't even brace for the hit, dude.
It just it does crack me up. I mean, because seeing a grown man slap another grown man, it's just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's wild, man.
That was BKFC on Danzin in Montana. I did see that. I don't.
Like I said, I'm not. Usually, I know when Mike Perry was fighting his fights there. Like, I'd be watching a YouTube video and the commercials that would pop up, the ads, it would be an ad for like watch fucking BKFC because Mike Perry's fighting Alvarez or whatever it was. And I'm not seeing any of that anymore, dude. It's just like they have just they're going back underground type of shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird, man.
Well, because I mean, I think it was because they were paying so many of these like former stars of the UFC to come down there, and most of them, besides for Mike Perry, was getting knocked out.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, a lot of these guys were past their prime. Their chins were already rocked. I mean, that's like Tony Ferguson going down there and trying to fight in that shit. It's like, dude, I mean, come on, you can't do that.
Boxing, look what Makai said on the screen.
Kenny Powers type of thing.
Remember took that dude's eye out with the pitch. Ow! He took my eye. Kenny Powers. No, well, it's gonna be some good fighting tonight, man. I know people were upset. Some people were upset. I looked at the Tyson thing. I guess like
what was your prediction when we did our prediction things on that? And I jumped on.
We all said said Tyson. I think I had said 4th round. You guys had said like 3rd or 2nd.
Knockout. Did we all predict knockout or TKO or something?
Didn't even come close to that.
So yeah, I mean, listen, we all.
Understood you guys were saying. I was just saying, like, Mike didn't get in on something that took your guys' money. If Mike wanted one last hurrah, if you wanted to get in there and just see, because these guys are fighters. It's what they do.
But my thing is, do you believe that what you seen last night? That's Mike Tyson. Do you believe
that's what?
Do you believe if you? Dude,
we don't like.
I watched the training videos of him sparring, and I find that so hard to believe, man. Like at least a little burst of getting in there and just throwing that uppercut and doing a little bit of that fucking peekaboo style that he had when he back in the day. None of that, bro. There was none of that, dude. Like that's what makes me think it was rigged, dude. Look. Jake Paul had his hands down around his belly button area. That was Tyson's perfect opportunity to just take a step in and at least fire an uppercut. He didn't do none of it, bro. I do not believe that's what Mike Tyson has become. I watched his training videos, and it's so unbelievable to me, man.
Well, I think it was heartbreaking for you to watch that last night and see that. Maybe Mike don't have it no more. Maybe they did trick you guys. Maybe
I'm gonna be watching hot boxing with Mike Tyson very close, and I want to see when they question him, like, what the fuck was that, dude? And he's gonna be like, if he starts fucking giggling and doing his retarded ass Mike Tyson shit, it was all fixed. If he's like, look, I went out there and gave it the best I had, well, maybe. But if he starts giggling and fucking smiling it, it's fixed, bro. Like, I don't know, man. It did not look like the Tyson that I watched training for this fight, dude. Like, he looked like he at least had a little bit of that killer still in him. And there was none of that killer in there last night.
Yeah. Maybe it was just heartbreaking for you, bub.
Hey, man, do you have the YouTube page pulled up right now on, like, your phone or anything?
Yeah.
Go on there and click on Makai's name and make him a moderator on there. So that way he can make sure that the chat, like if somebody comes in like you guys are a piece of shit, Makai can be like, bitch, you're blocked or you're timed out or something like that.
All right, I'll have to get that done. But all right. Well, man, let's end this, man. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. We had to put up with Drunk Bennett this morning.
Yeah, he didn't last long. No harm, no foul.
I just yelling at the mic. Couldn't make out what the hell he's saying. Every other word was "fuck you," so we was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. Every time you try to make a point, he'd say, "You guys are fucking idiots" and this and that. But it's all good, man. Fucking we'll catch up with him after the games, probably Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll be doing our predictions for next week's games and letting you know how bad we missed our picks this week. So
That's right. So, all right, man. So, you guys watch the fights tonight, man, and like, share, subscribe, man, and we'll be back with you in a couple of days. Thanks for watching.
appreciate the support, fellas. Later, y'all.